Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another really special, well, they're all really special edition of Talking Real Money. I'm Don McDonald, joined, as always, since the beginning of time, Thomas C. Cock over there in the other studio where all the aircraft hang out.
Hello. Yeah, I'm just
We're
finishing
here to do
an
something.
F-104 Starfighter, by the way. F-104 Starfighter.
F-104, that's an old plane.
Yeah, it goes back to like the 50s, I think, or 60s. Yeah, great plane. Beautiful.
The
beautiful
very
plane.
beginning of jet-powered flight.
Yeah, no, it's taken a lot of work, so I'm looking forward to having it done here soon.
Yeah, well, you can replace the Russian fighter with that one.
Oh, man, I'm never going to live that one down. Yes, I will. I will
It
get
wasn't
rid of the
me.
Russian.
You're the one who started it.
It's actually not Russian. It's actually Soviet.
Good point. Soviets
about
were
that?
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
Today
way
we decided
nicer
to do
people.
something special. What?
They were way nicer people. Sorry.
Yeah, that was. They're great people, the Soviets. We're here for a very special edition because we need to answer some of your questions. As I looked back at all the questions that have come in from talkingrealmoney.com, the kind that you write, I realized that we're near the end of April and we still haven't finished March.
So get to it, man.
This is a question marathon. Your written questions asked by me of Tom, who will throw the answer back to me again.
Especially the ones I don't know.
He doesn't know. So here's one. I hope you know these funds. If not, I know what they are so I can tell you.
Okay.
You answered a question about funds, and two of the ETFs you didn't like. I think didn't like maybe a strong word, but okay, or strong phrase,
Disliked?
are part of the Paul Merriman Ultimate Buy and Hold.
I think I know where we're headed here. Go ahead.
RPV, which is the S&P 500. I forgot whose it was. I think it's in RPV. It's the Invesco S&P 500 Value ETF.
I don't remember saying anything bad about this, but I'll take word for it.
What we may have said bad about that is that it had a relatively high expense ratio of 0.35, but it's a value. It's the value section of the S&P 500.
So you're tilting to the stocks that are out of favor.
Right. And then the other one was EFV, which is the iShares MSCI International Value. These are both value funds. And I don't recall ever saying we didn't like them.
No, I don't.
I think what we didn't like about them was the fact that their expense ratios are a little bit high at 0.35 for ETFs.
I never answered this question. You answered this
Probably
question.
was me, but it would really only
it.
have been the expense ratio because it's a value tilt. That's nice. One of our complaints, not really complaints, is that the Paul Merriman Ultimate Buy and Hold portfolio, love you, Paul, is a very difficult portfolio for a lot of people to manage.
I'd say
it has
for
a
most
lot
people,
of funds in it.
Most people.
I agree.
No offense. I mean, because Paul's really trying to do the very, 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 very best for you, which is admirable, but it's difficult. That's why we give you the three fund
And it's
thing.
not that we dislike them at all. We just think that you start with a basic 2-fund portfolio or even a 1-fund portfolio.
Not
Tom,
this
can
show.
you do
There's
a 1-fund portfolio? No.
This could be
I
way.
can't do it.
It's not going to happen.
A 1-fund portfolio, like a target date fund. You could do a 2-fund portfolio, which is like a total world index and a bond fund. You could do a a two-fund variation on the theme, which we like, which is one of Paul's ideas, which is a target date and just a small cap value fund.
I think that's a good
But when
approach.
you start getting into building these portfolios where you got a value tilt on large cap, where you got a value tilt U.S., where you got a value tilt overseas, where you got a value tilt on small cap, where you've got a value tilt on emerging, you start getting into these really ponderous portfolios, and people's eyes glaze over.
Well, not only that. Okay, they're hard to set up, but they're really difficult to rebalance for most people for a couple of reasons. First of all, it takes a level of sophistication to do it. Not that you can't get there, but it also requires you to be counterintuitive in many ways. You have to sell things that have gone or feel like they're going up, and you got to buy the losers. I find most people really they struggle with that. So again, I wouldn't pick on those two funds per se.
No.
35 basis points, they're expensive.
In the grand scheme of ETFs, they're expensive because ETFs, index ETFs, tend to run in the 10 basis point.
Yeah, no, our
that's
portfolio
3 times month.
Yeah, our precision core portfolio now, the average is 0.10. So now you're going to pay 0.3. I mean, so again, it's still
nitpicking,
small either way.
It's nitpicking, but
I agree.
The only beef I would have would be the complexity. The only beefs I would have would be the complexity and the higher than average expense ratios. That's all.
Yeah.
Next question.
Okay.
Hi, my mother has a small Vanguard IRA, less than $100,000. Mm-hmm. She would like suggestions on a fund mix to invest the money in. It's currently all in money market. She's on the conservative side and would like to begin drawing 2 to 3% per year in 5 years. I suggested VGSTX. What is that one?
TDIF.
Star. That's Star. Vanguard
TDIF.
Star. And VT. What is this,
Sorry.
a dirge?
Because it's just so easy. It's one fund. Just do it, man.
What? That was a dirge. What was the fund?
Target date fund.
That's what you were saying.
Now you've said this. I'm following you now. This is something you've said for. I always want to get into this. No, for your mother, she needs a little draw of it a little bit.
She's going to take a little money out in 5 years, so it'd be the Vanguard.
I don't know.
2025 to 2030.
Okay.
Probably 2025.
It's probably 50% in stocks, 50% in bonds.
Retirement 2025 is VTTVX.
No,
and get this. Talk about expense ratios again. This is a very well diversified fund. Expense ratio, Tom, just
I'll say 15 basis points.
Try 8.
Yeah, that's dirt cheap, man. You're getting it for nothing. What's the stock to bond ratio on that? 50-50?
It is
60-40?
It is 50-50.
Yeah, I mean,
close.
Again, for somebody who's retired, who doesn't want to, I think you could hope to make 5 or 6% a year from that. Well, if you're taking out 2 or 3, well, you can run the numbers. It's unlikely you'll run it all the way out.
You just, but again, what you have to do is you put it in there, you leave it the heck alone, you take out your 2 or 3% annually, you ignore everything that it does other than that. The only thing you're worried about, can I withdraw my 2 to 3% per year over the course of the next 20 or so years? That's all you care about.
And ignore the guy that...
And I can't see any way it would ever have a problem paying out 2 to 3%.
Because the guy that wrote came up with the 4% rule that you could draw out 4% of your portfolio from basically a balanced portfolio and it wouldn't run out. He's again in the press today saying, well, the future's not at 3.3. There's no idea whether that will work starting tomorrow, number one. Number two, your situation is unique. In other words, your Social Security pension, all those other things could impact how much you need to take out of it and when you take it. So, no, that's a ridiculous statement.
But what I've said is I cannot in my wildest dreams imagine a scenario in which over the course of 20 or 25 years, you could not take 2 to 3% out without running out of money. Some years it may go down some while you're taking money out, but I mean go down so much that it would just leave you with nothing. How does that happen? I don't believe it could.
If it does, call us in 30 years to tell us we're wrong. Now, we won't be available in 30 years, but feel free to give us a call.
But Don and Tom are not available to take your call.
So, yeah.
Please try again later.
Much later. Now, I think that's, again, simplicity, low cost, ease of operation. Boom. It's there. You get the money. Easy.
All right. Here's our next one.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. What is this? Oh, it's just comments. Do you want to comment?
Yeah. I always love
you want this one. Actually, you really want this one.
Okay.
Because the guy is a CPA.
Okay. Yep.
So you're going to like, because you have sort of a CPA mindset a little. What? In some ways. Just a little. You're going to see why. You're going to see why.
Yeah.
Hello, Don and Tom. There is no question here. First, Don, I love the Lit Reading podcast. Thanks for mentioning the site on your money podcast. Those are my short story podcasts.
Yeah.
Second, as a retired CPA tax attorney, I love Tom's tie look. It's very professional.
Oh, the fact that I'm wearing a tie.
Note to Don. I know you guys aren't tax people, but you did have a question last week about some guy who inherited an IRA, and he wanted to know why his tax software program was asking for his tax basis in it. That's most likely because he inherited it because the person he could have inherited it from made non-deductible after-tax contributions to a
Nobody
regular
makes
IRA.
those. Come on.
He would then get the basis.
Yeah. Somebody else wrote us about the same thing, by the way.
8606, the form 8606.
Yeah. Somebody else wrote us
where
the same
you keep
thing.
track of your basis and blah, blah, blah. By the way, I follow Paul Merriman's Ultimate Buy and Hold strategy. Speaking of
there you go. Yeah.
I did listen to your program a few months ago when he was on. I guess he couldn't handle the heat and decided not to return. No. Paul was on over the weekend.
He just was on last weekend.
Two episodes. Yeah, the last two episodes.
That's funny, though.
Paul can handle that heat.
He doesn't care. He's almost 79 years old. He literally doesn't care anymore. Sorry.
Finally. Yeah. Oh, Don, I heard your Friday podcast, and you said you had 3 daughters. Don, if they aren't already married, then Tom doesn't need to worry about your retiring anytime soon.
Wait, this guy, does he want a part-time job as the writer for the show or something?
Good luck to you guys. A CPA who can write? What is up with this?
And thinks I dress nicely. I'm troubled, deeply troubled.
Good luck to you guys, and look forward to more podcasts.
All right, that's kind words.
Wasn't a question, but it was relatively clever.
Yeah, so very clever. All right, one more. Go.
All right. Maybe 2 more.
All right, maybe 2 more. Yeah, I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm kind of hungry.
Is that whose fault is that?
That's probably my fault, but I'm still saying it.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, okay.
Prudential versus Empower. I don't even. Oh my. Goodness,
yeah, we know Empower.
I know this one. We do. Okay, good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hello, Tom and Don. I'm 45. Took a early retirement from state government to take a job with the feds. Oh, you double, triple dipper. There's going to be dipping pensions all over the place. My state's 401k and 457 programs are currently run by Prudential. I left the account open and currently have about $280,000 in the 401 and 457, mostly Roths. My plan was to leave the funds in the accounts to allow them to keep building until I needed to start drawing. Also, I'm currently maxing out my Roth TSP account. Last week, we received word that Prudential has sold its 401s and 457s to Empower. Are you familiar with this company? If so, what are your thoughts? Would you recommend leaving the funds in the account, or would you recommend rolling them over?
Okay, so
Tom.
Going back, Empower is, I think, mostly a record keeper. I'm just looking them up here because I think I've heard of record keeping financial holding. Okay, so but it always comes down to what the options are. How can you invest the money? What kind of funds? How expensive are they? How diversified? It comes down to that rather than the company per se. So I'm not a fan. We've said this 1,000 times, maybe more. Not a fan of hiring insurance companies to pick your investment products because great with life insurance, but not so much with the possible exception of the Pacific Life Company, which began what?
PIMCO?
Yeah, there you go. I knew you were going to get worked up about that one because I just read the book, The Bond King with Bill Gross. Any rate, no.
And by the way, Empower does have an investment advisory arm.
Shocking, because guess what?
And insurance products.
Okay, but I'm trying to understand.
So you're going to get and they're FINRA. So you're going to get some high cost garbage. I can guarantee they have a lot of high price garbage in there. Guarantee it.
Yeah. Okay. So to go back, your options are A, leave it there. B, well, you're going to have to, it's going to go to Empower. Or if you're not working there anymore, couldn't you roll it out or roll it for, couldn't you move it into the TSP?
Yeah, you should be able to. But the other thing you could do is just transfer it into your own IRA.
The only reason
you might transfer.
The only reason you might not want to do that would be then that would make you ineligible, basically, because the amount is so large to do a backdoor Roth IRA at some point. But if you're already doing the TSP into a Roth, who cares?
Exactly. He sounds like he's Rothed out all over the place.
Here's what I would do. I would find out if the TSP, because I don't know, I'm assuming they allow, distribution from one plan to another. I would move it from there to the TSP. TSP has pretty good diversification, extremely low cost. It's a pretty good program. So I would move it there.
All right. And to end this short Q&A version so Tom can have breakfast.
Yes.
At noon Eastern.
Holding up his daily food journal.
You're gonna love empty. This one. This is about retirement.
Oh, okay.
About retirement investing.
Okay.
Yeah. I have to clear my throat for this one. There we go.
Yeah.
Hi, Don and Tom.
Yes.
I currently have $100,000 to invest, and was wondering if you would recommend putting it all into Dogecoin, market timing GameStop with pot stocks, or keeping it simple with scratch-offs.
You're kidding me, right?
I look forward to your 100% sincere response.
You're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. This is a setup.
He wrote that. But
you're holding up. You're standing between me and my grape nuts for this? Are you kidding me?
And now And now on to my real question.
I was going to say,
that was
come
clever,
on.
Okay.
That was very clever.
I have a question regarding my 401k through work. It's run through ADP, which has neither a great selection of funds or low expense ratios. See, then those are picked by your company, by the way, not necessarily by ADP.
I think at ADP you can use anything. Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah, because our company uses ADP for payroll, but
not for the investing part.
Not for the 401k. I don't know what they have, but what's available. But listen to what his current holdings are.
Yeah.
60% in a State Street S&P 500 index.
That's probably okay.
First, really?
Yeah, State Street's index.
This guy was smart enough to throw in the expense ratio.
How much?
0.52.
Okay, so maybe they're adding in the cost of the plan to that, because the State Street 500 index in and of itself is cheaper than that.
No, but it's a class 9 share. What they've done is they found something that pays the people who create the portfolio a fee, because this is how I know this. I know State Street offers pseudo commissioned products. There's a 12B1 fee hidden in there, Tom.
That's
because
outrageous.
Listen to the next fund. He has Invesco Comstock, Class A. Expense ratio 0.82. And then 20% in Delaware small cap value.
I know the fund.
Expense ratio
0.9 or something.
1.14.
Okay. Oh, God's sakes. All right. So the question is what to do.
I'll give you the question. Am I better off opening an IRA through another company such as Vanguard and maxing that out first, or putting the remaining money into the ADP plan? I appreciate you two taking time to answer, for putting great material on your podcast.
Okay. Number one, if you get a match, you want to save at least up to the match, you get the free money.
Right.
No brainer.
And he doesn't say whether he has a match or not.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping.
If you don't have a match, go ahead.
Well, if you don't have a match, then the IRA probably there's several things, because obviously you can save more in a 401k than in an IRA, right? Because I think the under 50 you can still do 19,500 in the 401k, and IRA would only allow you to do 6,000. I was saying it's less. So that's one thing to consider. After that, sure, why not? If there's no match, I hope there's a match. But and I guess the third option is, do they have a target date fund at a low cost in that portfolio?
Based on what I'm seeing, and I'm extrapolating, because I don't have the information because this was a written question. But I'm extrapolating from what I'm seeing, and the fact that I'm seeing the fund classes that I'm seeing leads me to believe that this plan is advised by a stockbroker.
Sounds like it.
Registered representative who is apparently, and again, I'm extrapolating, but is apparently, it's a big enough company, I'm hoping, that he's getting them break points. I'm hoping these Class A's do not have the front load that they would have if they weren't reaching price points because, for example, the Invesco Comstock A shares have a front load. They do have a 0.82 expense ratio, but they have a front load of 5.5%. That's an upfront commission. So if you're a very small company and they're not meeting break points, it's usually $1 million in total assets with that company, with Invesco, for example. $1 million, then you would have a zero sales commission. You may want to look. You might be paying a sales commission in addition to that expense ratio.
If we're having this conversation in 1980, yeah, that's probably legit. But the fact that this is 2022, absolutely insane.
In 1980, pretty much all you could get was the Vanguard 500 index fund. Everything
you
else
were paying
was loaded.
Commissions. Yeah, I mean, back when the dinosaurs were I mean, so again, and I think, honestly, with anything, any plan that has a commission product in it, you need to go to HR and say, no, we shouldn't be paying commissions for this stuff. That's outrageous.
Even if we're getting break points, because remember,
it's still something.
That 0.82 expense ratio is a 12B1 fee of 0.25 that goes to the broker. So even if they've put over $1 million into the plan, every year the brokerage firm gets 0.25% of your assets in their pocket.
That's not a very good plan. Let's put it nicely.
That's what we think. Thank you all for being there. Let's send Tom off to breakfast, shall we? Oh, but before we do, let's talk about a free lunch. Well, you don't get the lunch, but you get a free event.
Well, okay, if you're in the greater Seattle area, you need to come and see us on Saturday, May 14th.
But the lunch is not free if you actually come physically.
That's a good point. There is no free lunch. Thank you. But you get to see Don out of his room for the first time in however many years.
I might. My wife's trying to get me to wear a tie.
What? No, that would be crazy.
I don't know.
Where would you find one?
Look, I know this isn't on video.
You have a tie?
Reason, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why it's in my studio, but there is a tie.
Okay, don't wear that tie with that shirt. I'll just say that
Michael
right now.
Kors.
Yeah, I don't know Michael, but okay. But
apparently it's a good tie.
It's going to be a great day if you've never been to this. I mean, if you have been, the thing about this event is you get different perspectives.
Except for the first one. It'll be better than the first one.
Are you going to post a picture that
because I don't control the websites anymore.
How do we call them? Over the hill. Anyway, we're leaving that one alone. Quarterback that showed up at Retire Meet 1.
Coach. Yeah. Quarterback.
All right.
Is he coaching in the USFL yet?
No, he's not. I don't think he's coaching at all. I think he's fully retired. Waiting for the NFL to call. He is a left-handed quarterback, so maybe there's a lot of quarterback moves. Anyway, so you can hear from myself, from Don, from Paul Merriman, from Apollo Lepescu, Barb Devereaux on long-term care, Rick Gregorick on estate planning. You get the idea. We cover all the things you need to know about retirement at Retire Meet.
Everything you could ever want to know every single thing.
Yeah, it's
guaranteed, or your free ticket back.
Yeah, there you go. So if you come online, if you do it virtually, it's free and there's no sandwich. Mm-hmm. If you show up, and we invite you to do so, you'll have more fun if you show up, because there you can interact with people. You can corner Paul Merriman and ask him how many more years you're going to do this, that kind of thing. It's more fun.
And if you want all the numbers, no, you can corner Paul Merriman and get a 45-minute dissertation on one chart.
That's probably true. So join us Saturday, May 14th. It's going to be a great day. You'll enjoy it and you'll learn. And you can sign up right now, I believe, retiremeet.com.
Oh, you darn well better be able to. It's coming up in less than a month. So.
Okay. All right. So, and we will sell out tickets for the Bellevue live event.
Tom guarantees his money back.
I won't show up. It will be
Or
sold
he's just going to buy the extra ticket.
Probably will. A seat fillers, they call them at the Oscars, right? Yeah. So we'll get some seat
There goes your Doha trip.
That's probably true. Which, I still dread the 18-hour flight. Anyway, join us.
Go Emirates. Is it Emirates? I hope it's Emirates. I love them. Oh my!
No, I think
gosh,
it's Qatari Air or something.
Oh, Qatar, because it's in Qatar.
Qatar. I need to learn that before I go there. I think that. Anyway,
Qatar. It's Qatar. It's like Qatar, but Qatar.
All right. So, anyway.
But it isn't really Qatar. That's the American. Well, I'm going to Qatar.
It used to be Qatar. Yeah.
No, it used to be Qatar. We called it.
Oh, okay.
Qatar. And then they said, no, it's Qatar.
And Qatar. I'm the Qatar man. Never mind.
Oh,
okay, so join us. You'll have fun. You'll enjoy it, and you will learn. So see you at retirement.
Okay, he's hungry. He's hungry. There. Let's let him go eat.
Calling to me.
Have a great day. Have a great life. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to the podcast. Go visit our video at YouTube or wherever, and just go out and manage your money better, please. Keep listening to us. I'm Don. That's Tom, talking real money.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future, so past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appella Capital, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. To keep the lawyers happy.